your spirit. Yeah, y'all know me. Get up and go when I decide to go. Do when I decide to do. I hope your morning is going well. Uh, I'll let it play a little bit longer. Let it play it down. This stream is titled "Giving Them Something You Didn't Know You Needed." And well, to be honest, it's that it's titled that because I'm a woman who loves men more than anything. Well, aside of my own children, of course. And so that's how I see it. At the same time, though, he's certainly given me something that, when I say he, the men in my life, and I didn't know I needed as well. So it's something to think about. Oh wow. So I was really like I was been listening to a lot of the other podcasts around lately, or live streams, broadcasts, and so on. And the men continuously talk about the sex that they want. Hey, Jenny. Good morning, gorgeous. Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting up and early this morning. Well, really, y'all, I'm actually late. I'm usually up at 4, already have photographed the sunrise, all kinds of things. I'm behind time. But yesterday I took a lot of downtime after our long walk, and Daniel and I spent some time together talking, and then, you know, oh well, y'all saw my little 45-minute rant. Appreciate you to everybody who checked it out. If you ever figure out who Martin is, let me know. It is 6:12 for the next month, Jenny. So here's the thing. Um, well, let me put that a different way. Hey, Daniel. Let me put it a different way for you. Arizona is on Mountain Standard Time. We never change. We never change. There are a few pockets in Arizona, like Navajo Nation. I think a couple of the other reservation type places might, but we don't change. So when you all go through daylight savings out on the East Coast, West Coast, Central Time, that ain't us. So when I say to you that it's 6 o'clock here, it's always 6 o'clock here. It might be 9 o'clock where you're at, or 8. But it changes at the solstice, daylight savings time for us. But it used to be at the solstice anyway. Um, but this was about, like I said, the things that we didn't know um, we needed. And I mean, I'm not like the fella. Shout out to Angry Man, dude. I can't say whether or not. First of all, let's say this. Let's start here on common ground, sort of. Change your strain, and you might not be as angry. Something about them cookies got some of us in rare form. I cannot do cookie strains. Monster Alien cookies mixed with something might be the exception to that. But kudos to you for coming down to the much smaller channels and having the conversations. Kevin did it some, but he only would go so far, right? He wouldn't deign to get low. Drop it low, low, drop it low. Shout out to Bunny. Hey, Miss Carter. I hope your spirit's well this morning. Um, but so the things that we didn't know we needed, right? The gentlemen in this space didn't know that they needed to have conversations wholehearted and openly on camera about their feelings. They could talk about their experience. They could speak on what it was that they had witnessed. They could speak on what they expected, anticipated, wanted, none of they actually felt. And I'm not saying that we're there yet. So one of the things I'm going to say is I'm going to give you the information up front on this one. Angry Man says, hey, you got to draw it out. You got to keep them engaged. You do. Everything that he said last night was absolutely true. Kudos to you, brother, for knowing your craft. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for sharing the game with other young men. I can't say that I would send my fellas to your channel, but you are an excellent entryway point for young men who've already got some of that in them. You can speak to them because they understand it. I am a mother of military black men. Darrell Long, my youngest is in the military. The second one is in school, and the eldest as well. He's working on all of his. As far as I know, he's working on being a pop. And you heard me say, as far as I know, he is a grown man in his 20s with his own responsibilities, his own family, his own dreams. I am his mother. I will always be a part of his legacy. There's nothing he can do about that. Blessings to him, right? I'm brilliant. I'm funny. I'm loving. I'm kind. I poured that into him, and he'll be able to pour it into his wife and children. Now, there's some things that he's going to have to work through. It's some of it may be red pill rage. I don't know. He saw some things. He experienced some things. He was my first child. My mother passed away a month after he was born. Unlike some other mothers, when I realized my error, I apologized to my children in real time. I poured into them as much as I could. They were, in some ways, patriarchy. That little loud screaming, oh, he reminds me of my youngest before he figured out how to get the testosterone out of his chest and some bass in his voice. Look, there's a pecking order to life, and we don't want to accept that sometimes. Excuse me, that was really close. Okay, sorry, y'all. Really trying to make sure I don't swallow half of what I cough up, at least. Anyway, side note. So there's a pecking order in life, and young men learn it much earlier than young women do, especially if they're not coming into contact with large swaths of young ladies, right? For me, I grew up in a family. Jenny said it takes a conscientious parent to apologize when we. Yes, Jenny, and it's hard, honey child. Do you know how much of your ego you have to get outside of to drop down and apologize to a little person? Now, here's the thing. I couldn't tell you that, oh, I never yelled at my children. Da, 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 da. That happens. It is life. A child will catch you in the midst of the most frustrating moment. And before you know it, you don't even know who it is who's spoken to you. You just, what? And that's enough to set some children. Every child is not built the same. Yet each child goes through the same stages of development, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I keep saying that I want to do this live about moral development theory. We spent a lot of time, I would say prior to the 90s, really prior to the 2000s, working on an understanding of human mindset from the old dead white guys, Freud, Jung, a few others. In, I want to say like the 60s and 70s, maybe we'll push it back to the 50s even. There was a second, well, not second wave, another round, so to speak, Well, it continues. It's continuous, to be honest. Yet there came a point with Piaget and his group of folks where moral development is what we began to understand is what's needed for all of us. We go through it anyway. We go through our id, our ego, and our superego more often than we think. We go through it momentarily. We go through it in a day, a week, a month. Something is always hitting at your ego. Something is always hitting at your spirit. Something's always working on your body, whether it's the weight of the world or the weight of your place in the world. Until you stand up for you, get you some care about you, you're always going to be in need of something. You're always going to be in the sunken place. I was watching a video earlier today. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Maybe we'll get it out of the way. We are going to walk today because there is a bit of cloud cover. And so I should be able to get in a decent couple of laps maybe. You guys, I really think that I'm going to be able to get back to the point where I'll be able to run again. I don't know that I'm going to want to run consistently, but I would like to be able to run again. I can do more push-ups now than I ever could in my entire life. That's freaking amazing. Ladies, April Carter, all y'all owe me. She said, stop talking about me. I hear and feel every word you say. But Jenny, I love you though. Jenny, I'm right here with you. Y'all, even though I look like this, I may be 5'7" and 100 and I don't know, 50-something pounds. I used to think that I would go on to be like, after having the gastric bypass surgery, I told my shrink at that time, I wanted to be a size 12. I'd be comfortable with that, right? Okay, that's fine for me. I've not been able to actually get there and maintain that. I stay here usually somewhere around like 150. But I used to be 300 pounds. I used to be 200 pounds. I used to be 135 pounds. And at all of those different ways, I've been all those different girls and everything in between. You know the woman I don't want to be? I don't want to be Henrietta Lacks. I don't want to go into a hospital and never come out and have my family find out years later what they've done to me. Rest in love to her. I do not want to be, no offense to the sister, I think she's amazing. I don't want to be Shahrazad Ali. Yeah, see, that's about normal. To me, even despite the fact that they say, Jamie said she's about the same size as me. The fact that they say that the average is 14, a size 14, the fuck what the average is. Why be average? I tell you, be above average. Okay, now back to I don't want to be Sister Shahrazad Ali. I love her. But do you know you all, as ladies, didn't know anything about her information until Kevin started saying it and twisting it? That's a goddamn shame. So either she didn't get the writing right, or y'all wasn't reading right. Or the men were suppressing her the entire time. Because while the message was there and good, they wanted the power, the credit, the accolade for it. Fellas, I love y'all. I do. And by now, you know that more than anything. You have this way of taking another's information, waiting about 5 minutes, and putting it back out as your own and taking all the glory. When at times, all you've done is listen. Rest in love, Kevin. Ain't no hate, ain't no shade. What you did do is tell our young men what they need: culture, power, refinement. And you're correct, Kevin. In order to get those things, men need women. You ever notice that none of the men in this space can tell you how to set the table that they want you to come to? It's because they've never been anywhere where a table's been set for them. They were never taught to set a table at home, in daycare, in the classroom. These used to be things when I was a young girl. Now, I'll be honest. I taught my sons, but a little bit more relaxed. Why? I had to do things that I shouldn't have had to do because the man who was supposed to be covering us wasn't. He dropped off a paycheck and took credit for the wonderful things that the fellas and I did. That's not a relationship. It's not fatherhood. It's not parenting. It's doing the bare minimum. You have to have a home anyway. So paying for a roof is the bare minimum. You have to have well, I've seen and heard the way some of you eat. Mandrell, goddamn. Quick. Oh, and Sharon, baby, you look like a whole goddamn Negro bunny up there yesterday eating all that lettuce. Anyway, I don't. Told y'all I watch. Sorry, I got off topic. I'm sorry, I got off track. We've got to we've got to get those things: culture, freedom, power, refinement. We're there. Someone asked in little podcast chat last night um, about our language. The language of those who were born black in America is that of the Gullah. That is the name of the language and the people. Why is that the case? 70% of us come from the deep south. Most of our speaking patterns come out of that region, and many of us were spanked as children to change the way that we speak to meet the American educational system face it versus what was fluent to us, comfortable to us. Now, yes, we do need to be able to communicate with the predominant culture. Yet, you ever notice that we can understand everybody else with their accents and somehow manage to be respectful of it? If you're gonna make fun of their accent, you don't do it in front of them, and if you do, you don't do it until you're comfortable with it, or you understand the risk that comes with not respecting their differences. Why is it so hard for people to get when it comes to Black Americans, Black American men specifically? One of the things that I truly love about my dad is every now and then when he gets really comfortable in his speech, he'll say screet or strawberry, and he says ara. You can't help it. He'll go through the ara. I'm like, dang. And that's the funny thing about it is like the word R is R, but ara when he says the letter R is quite comical to me. As his daughter is one of those things that I found, endearing in a way. To be honest, I don't think that with my father having spent 22 years in the military, he and my mother never went to a ball. My mother and father did have some fancy dishes at some times, but we were military. We moved so much we didn't really get to keep things, so to speak. So what they poured into us were memories, time together, experiencing one another, understanding who we were. You grow up. Hmm, that's funny. I was gonna say when you grow up in a country that's not your own. Pause. When you're Black American and 11 in the 80s, do you know what country is yours? So, I grew up in Germany. I went to school um, on the economy. I was the only one. Well, that's not true. My elder sister went to the school with me, and then she got into some trouble, and she ended up going to a military boarding school. Not where one of the ones where you had to wear a uniform. It was just anyway. Um, my younger sister was in what they call DoDEA schools, Department of Defense Education Administration or something like that. Um, and so it's basically the federal school system for an easy way of putting it here. Um, and so those teachers are paid on a federal system. I have an associate. I have a friend. I have a sister. I have a sister who is abroad, working in the Dodia school system. She holds a rank equivalence to someone in the military. Um, and so, for security purposes over there, she's given a certain level of cover in that regard. Um, that's one of the things that used to bother people. Civilians, why they gotta get the same? They earned it too. Anyway, sorry y'all, got off topic again. So here's the thing: these conversations are not meant to be organized and all of that. It's you and me, and my medication session, so that I can get organized and have conversations that people can stay with the whole time. Sorry, but growing up in Europe, I got to see a lot of different things. My parents afforded us that opportunity, and I'm not sure that they knew we needed it. They couldn't have known specifically how living in Germany would affect me. The beauty of the history of it. One of the things to me that's difficult about living in the United States is the lack of history. Like, we have monuments to bullshit. There's a couple of castles, a couple giant churches, some really great other stuff, but not history. And I mean, like in Germany, the history and the culture, it's intermingled. It's on the buildings, it's on the people, it's on the food. You can understand how certain things became popular at certain times. You can understand why a group of people might move the way that they move. It's there, it's in the air. We don't have that. As Americans, we have a history, a group of experience common to us all that mark time. At this come together culture, we don't have that. We aren't Americans. We're not. And I can say that. Like, you can't be around those who serve Americans, interact with them and their children, and not recognize the disconnect between a country and their people. I think that it says giving him something he didn't know he needed, discipline. You see, as a people, we believe that discipline is beating down one another, literally, figuratively, right? I'm gonna tear you apart for the way you look. I'm gonna tear you apart for the amount of money that you have. I'm gonna tear you apart for the woman that you're in love with. I'm gonna tear you apart for the shoes on your feet. I'm gonna tear you apart for the fact that you got more hair than me. I'm gonna tear you apart for the fact that you got no hair at all. I'm just gonna tear you the fuck apart until you have no feelings. And then I'm gonna set you loose into the world and tell you to make your way because now you understand that no one out there cares about you more than I care about you because I made you. And I tell you that often. That's what the community does, right? Tough love. You got that one wrong, Judge Mathis. It's abusive love. It's narcissistic and it's insidious. It's dangerous and it's detrimental to our children. It doesn't give them discipline, it gives them calluses to the world and the cares of other people. I say all the time, you spank your child, you are their first bully. You got to remember. Let's just say this is your child. Note the size. This is you, right? If this is the size, look at that. Look at that. This is what it's like when you decide to lean in and tell your child something, holler at your child, swing on them. This is the perspective that they get of you. And you wonder why they believe in monsters in the daylight. Many of you especially our men, they'll tell you that they're not in corporate spaces. So you don't understand some of the more refined communication skills. And I don't know whether or not any man could give you this one because he is, I really just don't know that well, right? But when you're speaking to someone in corporate and you want them to be able to hear you feeling, without feelings of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Jenny, help me. Uh, without them, not it's not condescending, but you standing over someone, it's like you're the aggressor. So when you're trying to have a back and forth dialogue with a colleague or an employee, or I'm sorry, a staff member, someone you're trying to get information out of, you've got to meet them at their level. So you sit, right? They tell you to use the I message. I would say stop doing that shit. Try to find some neutral ground, words that are neither I nor you. We we have a situation. Uh, Recently, I recognized that we were short on. Uh, so those are little things to help with communication. So with your child, you've got to do that as well. You've got to get on their level for as many conversations and activities as possible. Meet them where they are and then help them rise to the occasion. Children are amazing. They will shock you when you don't shock them. It's just traumatizing. Think about what happens to your ears when patriarchy starts doing that Carl Wheeler loud screaming, yelling shit. It's just, you have to be like, oh God. Imagine a small child witnessing their adult protector. What the fuck do you think that looks like? I mean, goddamn, I look crazy to myself right now. Can you imagine what your babies are witnessing? Then you go off. That's just yelling. And I didn't intend for us to talk about spanking, but while we're here, understand. Right. See, Jenny said she tunes out. So I started singing daycare songs. Hopefully it'll lull his ass back into reality. Um, anyway, while we're on the topic of spanking, being an empath, being autistic, having fibro, whatever it is that causes me to be able to feel changes in the air around me. Literally, there's a pressure change when someone else comes into the room and I can feel it. Whatever that is, they're children. Our children are like that when they first get here. And when we are doing things to them, like hitting them with belts, allowing them to fight with one another viciously, that gets tattooed on those little bodies. Whether they recognize it or not, that little bit of damage is done. Now, they're still growing, and so they've got a lot of regenerative cells going on. But that over time, there's still some memory damage, right? Some little bits of nerve damage done to the skin, done to the blood vessels, done to the muscles, done to the psyche. You're supposed to love me. You're supposed to take care of me. You're supposed to protect me. That part. How can your children see you the same? You're an adult, and this is for the fellas mostly. You've been hit by another man before, right? It was a mollywop, wasn't it? Oh, eye opening, flash of bright fucking light. Whether you saw it coming or not. Ladies, maybe you didn't experience that. You experienced the first time you got a open hand slap, snatched your hair. You got into it with a sibling, a friend. How shocking was it to you? Stunning, surprising. And these aren't even the people who made you. Stop beating on your kids. And at this point, you have the awareness to know that putting your hands on another adult is unacceptable. You have the awareness to know that putting your hands or anything in contact with your child's skin because you want to prove your authority over them is abuse. It's time we start setting the fucking record straight. That's something you needed to know. Jenny says, we don't yell in this house. My son will sit and stare at people while they're yelling and then smart ass answer. Yes, yes, Jenny. And then Jenny says they can't. They feel betrayed every time we engage in those activities. We tear down their self worth and importance in this life little by little. Right, Jenny. Oops. Is that her? Okay. And I'm going to give it to the fellas yesterday. They were like, that's just what we do. You're right. It's time for us to do different daily. That's discipline. It is a difficult hill to climb. But before you know it, you climbed a mountain and you're slap boxing, or in my case, talking shit to God. From here, look at me now. I will be 47 in, oh shit, y'all, what's today's date? Ah, I'll be 47 in 23 days. All of my sons are over the age of 20 or 20 and above, working on their own journeys. None of them have gone, these are so basic, but hear me out. None of them have gone to prison. None of them have any children out of wedlock. None of them have gone on a journey that they didn't choose to. They were born free. I kept them innocent as long as I could, and they remain free to be the men that they want to be. That's the journey. No one can tell them whether or not they're ready. Only they know. Shout out to TVE, Brother Clarence, and everyone who thought that Daniel was my son. It was hard for my son. He saw him as a brother in a way. Daniel's not my son. He is a wonderful young man, and I love him. He's been an amazing part of my journey. We've experienced a lot of things together. So many that old saying where people say, we've been through so much, we deserve to see it through. We deserve a win, right? I'm someone who's still working with the understandings of love after being in a relationship with an abuser for 26 years. Is that what it is? Is that what I tell my son? Because that's not what I told my son. I told them to make sure that she's funny and she's smarter than me. Because that's what's going to last. Long after the body, the bouquets, the bad shit. You love each other properly. What'll last will be her laughter and her brilliance. Daniel just helps remind me of that. When you're married to someone who is emotionally neglectful, just isn't present. Let's just you begin to believe that it's you in everything that you do. So you take everything, you internalize it to the point where introspection is all you have. Just looking in on you, looking in on you. What did you do? What have I done? Why haven't I done enough? Why haven't I been enough? When in reality, for some people, there is just never enough. Then you begin to wonder if that's you. Because it's insidious the way that their words, their neglect seeps into you as your words and neglect of self. You don't see it. It comes in little doses, little steps. You accept things one bit at a time. And before you know it, you've eaten the whole self-hate sandwich. Now, how do you get rid of it? Shout out to Daniel and Princess K. There's always prune juice. That'll get you a rather quick and painful dump from what I hear. Not my cup of tea. Pause. Oh Lord, you guys, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes. You definitely got to go for some walk. My tailbone is starting to get it. Now, you've got to purge your system of the self-hate sandwich you just ate. How are you going to do that? Daniel says, but baby. So you guys, Daniel, you're ridiculous. All right. How do you purge your system? We're going to talk about a butt baby. It's kind of the same thing. In February, when I was going through, hey, Mark, how's your spirit? Glad to see you. When I was going through my near death experience, right? Uh, I was in and out of it. Um, in other culture, they call it transpossession, right? I was going through these cycles of, let's call it rebirth mentally. My brain, my synapses were like, what the fuck is going? Hey, 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 get us back in here. Wake up, bitch. Wake up. Wake up. And so I'm still trying to communicate. I'm here, but I'm just kind of out of body, right? So I'm trying to communicate, and at times we had to speak in like to like I was talking to a 2-year-old or a 6-year-old, or like going through it. Basically, I was going through the stages of development. Like it's hard to just explain with clarity. Still, I'm working on it. Anyway, um, at one point, I was explaining that what we consume as a community, what comes through us, we all take it in. It goes through us all in the exact same way. And then it comes out of us like a butt baby. Well, little people have this issue with having to go to the restroom. I don't know why. But anyway, the long and the short of it is, um, it's a part of us. And we got to poop it out like a butt baby. How do you explain babies to children when they're really small, kind of thing? It's what it was. And so around here, we, anyway, sorry, y'all. You have to purge yourself of your self-hate sandwich. You have to do the work of exercising your mental, exercising the insidious bullshit that they did to put those thoughts into you. You've got to be able to recognize those things for what they are moving forward in your life so you don't go through it again. They talk about a victim mindset, victimization. They speak on how victims, once you have been a victim of assault, you are more likely to be assaulted again. Once you have been, right, Mark, I was rebooting my system, and man, was it a doozy. Ooh, child. Anyway, uh, oh shoot, I forgot. Okay, maybe that means we should get my shoes on and go for a walk, you guys. That's the other thing. Once you know, you know. Hey, we're back. Ta-da! Once you know, you know. Once you understand and see things for what they are, that's discernment. That is intuition. Your instinct has transformed into your intuition. And when you give up, thank you, Jenny, when you understand what it was that made you a target, how they targeted you, and what was done, you can discern those signs in other people, in other spaces, and move accordingly. Some spaces you may still want to go to. I still rock when I sing a little podcast because he seems to want to change the way that people are speaking with one another. I still don't rock with Anton, but I'll watch Fight Club and give him a like sometimes. I like some of the people who are on there. I still don't care for what I don't care for. Let's just put it that way today. Okay. Um, Jenny says, do you think that applies to child victimization? Can you as a child develop discernment at it? Oh God, Jenny, yeah. We come with it. So thing number one, we come with discernment. Cold water. Just give me a moment. Ah, I forgot. Oh, oh. But that's ah, uh, shit. Hmm. Oh shit. Oh fuck. I'm okay, Daniel. I'm okay. Hang up. It's that part. Sorry, y'all. Who's discernment? Yes, we're born discerning. We can tell. We can tell in the womb. You ever know? Well, that's we can tell in the babies can tell. Children can tell. Dogs can tell. It's us who don't pay attention to the signs. One of the things when I was dating, not with the intention of being with anyone, seriously, because separated. Hush, Mark. Um, I trusted my children's instincts, where the people I brought into our lives were concerned, and I failed at it one time, and I apologized to them for it, and they love using that relationship against me. Um, Yet I trust their judgment because they're looking at it from a different perspective than I. I wish I had been able to talk to them about their yes, my love. He says I was doing work checks and noticed your head down. I see you're all right. Yes, I was drinking. Okay, guys, apologies. I'll explain. Coffee, warm. My body, hot. Water, room temperature. That's enough to cause a flare of pain inside of this tiny body. And a couple years ago, it would have caused me to cry for a Percocet. Right now, I really feel the need to hit my pen or the bowl. Um, Yet the pain's still there. It's cramping. It hurts. Um, it's uncomfortable. But there's a discomfort that comes with discernment, and I've come to recognize them as the same thing. So I breathe and push through it the same way that I breathe and push through exercise and whatever else it is that I need to do. The stressors of life, you know, that part. So yeah, babe, I thank you for checking on me, but I'm okay. That's one of the things that I didn't know. Well, You're right, Mark. They didn't have the filters so that I couldn't trust their instinct. As they've gotten older, um, I can put more stock in their instinct. Um, they're my children, so I suppose moving on intuition is in them. Um, they, they go their own way dudes, which is what they're doing, which is what teaching someone knowledge of self is, which is what giving them culture, freedom, power, and refinement is. Understand, whether you want it to happen or not, the world, your family, your peers, whomever, they gonna give you knowledge, wisdom, and eventually you come around to some understanding that you get knocked around this motherfucker a little too much. You heard? Okay. Having said that, I'm recharging my headphones so we can go outside, you guys. I really don't know why it did that, but it cut off. So I'm gonna give it a couple. We'll go out here at the hour and walk for a bit. I'm definitely going to put on my hat. You see how that is? The clouds were here, an hour later, gone. That's Arizona. Um, but there is discomfort in discernment. Um, you grow from it. I have no idea how my stomach is handling this growth situation from this painfulness. I'm learning to deal with it. And here's the thing, like, just as a side note, those of you who may be living with a chronic pain condition, dude, if you can get away from the opioids into something as natural as possible, cannabis, do that. I never wanted to be on opioid therapy because I wanted to be on opioid therapy. I wanted to be able to live in as little pain as possible. It cost me too much, though. It cost me time with my family. It cost me stomach lining. It cost me my mental. Now, I'm always in pain. Yay, babe. I don't know. Ooh, I haven't done the dishes. I slept. I haven't. I'm sorry. He's on his way home, and I'm like, ooh, um, thank you, Mark. For there goes Mark. The day date. um, and here's the thing: even on the opioid therapy, I was still in pain, unless I was super doped. Not worth it. Here, it takes a combination of things. All of them are natural, though. I still am me, and by that I mean like I'm aware. I'm here. I might be a little bit stoned sometimes. Shout out to Lou the Legend for picking apart Two Stoners the other night. It's cool. It's cool. It was nice to not feel my body for a change, you guys. I wish that I could live there. I wish that I could be on that plane all day, every day. Because this one is exhausting. Mm, Mark asked how bad my headaches get. Mm. The headaches aren't the worst of it. They usually every day they'll be around a 5 or a 6. When we're gonna get a storm, they're a full blown chronic pain 10. But my whole body hurts. Mark, just sitting here right now, I hurt from bone to skin. I don't tell you because I seek sympathy. I don't cry because I want empathy. It's because for a brief moment, I don't feel the pain. It's a release from the hurt. I asked my little cousin once, I said, if tears are emotional currency, what are you spending yours on? I don't have the capacity to spend them on anyone else but me. Someone said to me, Auntie, they make you cry. I'll show up. It's too late then. I've already gone through the pain. I needed you before. Before the water had to flow. Before the chocolate falls. Thank you, Mark. He says, so sorry, sweetheart. Jenny says she truly understands, and Mark says he'll pray for me. I appreciate that. There was a time in my life, Mark, when I would take that and be like, yeah, okay. Who you pray to, though? You know what? Doesn't matter. Because over here, I will receive it as positive energy and love. It goes through the filter of my creator, my ancestor, my culture, my freedom, my power. That is refined into a loving blessing for me and mine, regardless of the world around me. That's how we build on the positive and destroy all negativity. We push back the evils of the world by accepting the truths of the tension and the intention within. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit more coffee. I am going to hit this bowl now that my tummy is settled, and then hopefully my headphones will be ready to connect. You guys can come with me. So it's how do I put down the coffee cup when it's coffee that I'm gonna go and put in the cup? Whoo, Father Jesus, in the morning time, y'all. There's not enough. Um. Anyway, it's it's difficult. It's difficult to get up and get into these spaces. Mark, you said what strain? I think that might be the last of my dessert runs. Today I get more cannabis. Oh shoot, babe, are you headed there or home? Look, I'm hollering like, oh my gosh, hold on, you guys. Thank goodness there's a napkin right here. My nose is running. Okay. Daniel, my love, are you headed to Relief? Because before I walk out, I will go ahead and make an order. Um, but yeah, Mark, I think I'm still doing the strain from when I went to bed last night with some dessert runts. It's an indica. It helps with relaxing. I really need to take the time and go back through my terpene research. I'm looking for something that specifically takes away tension at this point because, whew, you said he heard me. Schwark. Um, I'm looking for something to take away tension because now that I am actually up exercising consistently, um, and working more on the writing and whatnot, I'm in these more bent, tightened up positions, and I'm getting that pain across the back of my neck here, and then of course there's always the tension in my sciatic area. So I want a strain that did I freeze? Sorry. Da-da. So I'm looking for a strain that can ease the tension headache and the pain in my shoulders and the relax the muscles in my back. Sweet, thank you, my love. Mark, you did hear me. Ta-da! Look what we can do. Team JP. It takes three. It was a joke, babe. It was a joke. Chill out. Chill out. I'm so goofy. Okay, you guys. So before I can go, matter of fact, I should put you over here. That'll make life easier. All right. So before I can go, then I need to look up the stuff at the dispensary. And what I'll do is I might let you guys see it. Yes, Jenny, it's been hard for me to get turmeric in fresh form, which is what I really need. And I usually do about two or three hot toddies or some, oh, yeah, two or three hot toddies in a day. And I put ginger, turmeric, and garlic in my hot toddy, which it includes alcohol, mint, tea, and some type of citrus. That hot toddy combination, along with a little bit of can of butter or can of oil in it, really kind of, if y'all saw Darrell when that stream with me and Lou, or if you saw the stream with Lou and I, anyway, the way he was spinning around in that chair like that, that combination in that cup, that will give me, it's like a booster until at the medicated meal kicks in. Like I have to, it's a series of things, so to speak. But yeah, that right there, combined really helps. Turmeric helps. I put it in a lot of things. If you hear me talking about the peanut butter and egg sandwich, it's because the dressing that I make for that sandwich has all of those things in it as well. I use it in as many places as possible to get as much flavor, nutrients, and anti-inflammatory going on. Mark says, Jenny, it may help. It will take. Yeah, see, that's the thing. It takes a lot. And so doing that, I can't do that. You have to remember that because I had the gastric bypass surgery, um, I can only hold 8 ounces of food in my tummy, or 8 ounces of anything, really. If you've ever seen that jar and rock thing, where they take a jar like this and then they put different things in there and then they let it, and then eventually they pour in water. That's my tummy, but my tummy can only hold 8 ounces of food or anything in it at a time. And I have to be really careful if I were to put carbohydrates in there and then turn around and have some beverage, going to, it'll swell up in my stomach and I will hurt for hours. So yeah, it's that part. You're welcome, Jenny. You guys, by the way, I closed the Facebook group So I may need to change the link, but it's in the description. Please join. I'm going to start putting more of those things there. Also, I will be doing live cooking from over there on the Facebook, and also possibly on my TikTok. I'm changing some things um, around to fit um, my current capacity and the changing times in these spaces, because I'm over it, y'all. Honestly and truly, after yesterday, after being stalked by someone who no one even fucking knows, that's too much for me. Under the current situation, knowing who I've been married to, knowing how close I am to being divorced, and knowing the outcomes of that, or the possible outcomes of that, I'm just not interested. That's part of it. That's not all of it. Um, some of it is just to make, you got to make content across platforms and spaces. Sorry, y'all, my trying to find. Here it is. Oh no! Dang it! My jetpack went off. It's making adjustments like this for little things you didn't anticipate. Daniel, I got your message. And it's funny because there was a time when I wouldn't do any of these things, you guys. Like my sister and my dad were like, you should do diatomaceous earth and da 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 da. I don't know if you've ever tried to put some diatomaceous earth in anything. I don't know if some of this stuff. I remember my dad trying to get my mom to do like some type of shark's tooth such and such when she was diagnosed. Um, and yeah, I suppose you try everything that you can. And I'm not saying that I might not get around to being willing to try some of those things. I'm just not sure that they're actually what I need either. So it's discerning what works for me and putting it into practice to the point where it becomes muscle memory. And now my medicating routine left to my own devices is pretty much muscle memory. Um, Getting myself taken care of. Like when I moved to Tucson, it was one of those things, was just to set a ritual, a routine for everything that worked for me. Damn, I wish I had my cards. Well, I mean, I need to renew my cards. Uh, Sorry, y'all. Here, you want to see? So, just looking at the different strains here. There's Jungle Cake, which is a really good one. SGKO runs. Oh, we're straight. Okay. Wow, they've got a lot of decent strains at really decent prices. So from here, it's about knowing what works for you. Right? You can't. It really bugs me that people just kind of go onto a website. No, Mark, I don't even know what golden milk is. It really bothers me that people would just go onto a website and be like, oh, what's got the highest THC content? What's such and such? And then just do that. It's more than that. It's much more than that, guys. And even though I just give you the THC content and a couple of other things about it on the internet, on live streams and whatnot, I do a lot more research than that. So like right now, I'm looking at this MF cookies. I know, even though I told Angry Man, there's something about it. I believe that, here, let's see. So what I do, if I'm not sure, and that SGMF cookies I've never had before. Hey, Wisdom, how's your spirit? Yeah, we're doing a dispensary run. So if anybody wants to hit the Cash App, now is a wonderful time to do so. Okay. Let me turn this back around. Okay. So it's what was that? Is that what that was? No, MF cookies, no OG. Me personally, I really like OG strains and Kush strains. But anyway, so after I see what they have, I go to my favorite site, or one of my favorite sites, and try to find out some information about there. Pretty much what the strain information is. So, it's made of true OG and Girl Scout cookies. There are no reviews on it yet. Caryophyllene and myrcene. So the myrcene's for pain. The caryophyllene will pretty much okay. So yeah, sorry y'all. Here. So one of my favorite sites is Leafly, because you can get some strain reviews. You can find strains that are similar in nature. Like I said, this one's not been reviewed for. So, oh, hey, look, they've got one. Great, we're talking with your partner over a nice joint. Keeps the conversation going. Okay, well, maybe then that means that it'll help you relax. So now, is it at a decent price point? Hell yeah, it's $10. Um, $10.12 a gram, and it's 20% THC. It's worth giving it a shot. And it's a sativa, so it'll wake you up. Yes, cookies do make you aggressive. I'm not kidding, guys. So it'll tell me that I do lightly in moderation. Yes, sativas usually are, and at a 20% or higher, I find that sativas tend to kick into the sleepy realm if you don't get the anxiety effects. Right now, there's still some where you're going to get the anxiety effects, and you need to know that going into it. But so yeah, that was quicker than I thought it was going to be. Um, I wish that I had anyway. Actually, I don't, because on the one hand, guys, back in the day when I first moved here, my cannabis budget was a lot. Let's just put it that way, a lot. It was almost $1,000 a month, and now it's down to about a third of that, maybe a little more. So yeah. He said all donations are accepted. Any bit of cannabis funding helps. Amen to that one, babe. I love you too. So I'm gonna write down these strains, love, and then I will text them to you. Just he's adorable. And you guys, I am working on getting my strain reviews up myself. It's just a slow going process. Look at how much it is, y'all see. I'm trying to do. I want to build something legendary, amazing. I want to build something that's gonna stand the test of time. I think that we deserve that. Don't think I really like that. Okay, sorry, y'all. And that takes faith in a lot of things. Um, Most of all, it takes faith in yourself and your creator. And then others having faith in you that even when they can't understand why it is you make move the way that you move, do the things that you do, that it's all going to come to fruition. That's why you have to cut some people off sometimes. Because Daniel, I'm going to send you this on Facebook so I can go on this walk. But it's the reason why sometimes you have to cut off the people who are closest to you. Even I love my family. I'll run my mouth a lot about the predominant culture and how terrible they are. I realize the space that could put them in. I recognize that my loss could make them feel the way. I would like to have them around more sometimes, and then other times not. Sorry. One more thing. All right. Daniel, I sent that to you on Facebook. Guys, we're going to go for this walk and we'll talk about the rest of this. Then we'll get back in here. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I appreciate it. All right. Oh, shoot, I said I was going to get the bowl. Don't let me forget. I really will be upset out there. Okay. Where's the lighter, JP? Me. There it is. Ta-da! Food grade bentonite clay is easier on your gut, JP, than the diatomaceous earth. I hear you, Mark. I'm gonna ow. Fuck nuts. Ah. Mm. Ah. Oh shit. Ah. It's a catch-22. I need to be able to inhale enough to cough. Because it does help get it into the stream, right? Whew. Yet, remember, I live with all over pain. So, coughing hurts. I live with bone pain. What's underneath here? My ribs. Oh, Jesus. Oh. Ooh. Child, that was much. Okay, one more time, then we're gonna start walking. So I wanted to tell you about the things that we give a man that he didn't know that he needed. Kevin talked about it. It's that refinement part, that culture part. We really talk in this space as if we're just a bunch of gosh dang animals. Mark says you can't take everybody. Mark, ain't that the damn truth? Um, whew. A little bit. Babe, I'm gonna talk about Sharif, so you might wanna turn on some music or something. Um, it comes to, well, I'll give you an example. Daniel and I spoke a lot when we first met about how men and women come together, moving on instinct, what it would have been like back in the day, right? We make men do the comforting things that they wouldn't normally do, even for themselves. We give them a reason to refine themselves. They're not wrong about you need to go out and get your work and this, that, and the third. Yet, in order to be able to have a family and make those things, thank you, my love. He says, I'm not bothered by your past. Love, speak freely, I'm all right. So the fellas, they know that they need food, water, clothing, shelter. They make sure they get it, you know? The fellas know they need peace because it makes it easier to go out and get the other things. So they make sure they get it. Yet, it isn't until they meet a woman or they get around to recognizing that they need that other thing, adulting, frequently, consistently, they decide to take on a partner. That partner comes along and is like, oh, well, you're really nice, but you know, could you get something a little bit softer for me to lean on? Hold on, you guys. Sorry. I don't know when I said fuck nuts, but yes, Mark, that is a phrase that I suppose I may have coined somewhere. I've coined a few in this space, coochie caping. But anyway, at the end of the day, Tadar's my favorite. But yeah, they're fuck nuts. I don't know why I say it either. I can't remember how I started it. That's what I mean. But fellas, I mean, think about it. Your mother had to tell you to clean your room how often? And shout out to my youngest. He just told me that the other day. He was like, "Well, you know, mom, he's not gonna actually outright like give me a compliment. That's what the youngers do, it seems." So, what he did was he was like, "Well, you know, mom, you know how you made me do all that cleaning that I couldn't stand, and you know how you had me doing this, and this. Well, I find now that it's comforting. Da 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 da. No, thank you. No, you know, he just said it all casual, like he had come upon this epiphany magically, right? matter of fact, I told you even back then that I was putting work ethic into you. Why do you think that you are a tip-top soldier? Huh? Huh? Because I poured that into you. I gave you what you needed before you knew it was what you needed. Ladies, you do need to do some of that. Now understand, uh-uh. I'm not talking about putting the he already knows that he needs the Gog 3000. Shout out to Tay and Darrell and crew. So he already knows that he needs that. He doesn't know that he needs a date to a tapas bar where they bring you little bits of food at a time, where you can get a flight of wine service, where you can sit at the bar and have a nice conversation. The music's not too loud. The such and such isn't going on. The bartender's not trying to hit on the man that you are with. Ta-da! He didn't know that he needs that from time to time. Ladies, not everything all the time, and all things in moderation. Understood? So, Sharif, hi Paco. Sharif was the gentleman that I was seeing um, in 2014. And he was younger than me. Matter of fact, I think Sharif might have been 21 and I was like 36, 30, 35, 36, something like that. And he hit on me. I mean, he wore me down. We would be at the at the bar after work. We both worked in hospitality. And I'd be sitting with my core group of friends, and he would be sitting like a table or two behind us, and he'd overhear me saying something like, I'm just speaking my frustrations," and I'm like, "Ugh, I'm really just why are they staring at me? If you want to talk to me, just talk to me. I'll talk to you. Boy, hush, you too young." um, it's something else. Um, I would say like. I really just want somebody that I can kick it and have a glass of wine with. We can have a glass of wine anytime you want to. Now he's 21. Bruh, chill out. You're too young. I've got, at this time, I think my eldest might have been 17, something like that. I'm like, I've got a child. Oh shit, I stepped on a bug. My bad, bug. I had a child not too much younger than you. Mark, you said The Walking Dead? Who, me? Don't treat me like that, Mark. I think I look wonderful. No, I'm kidding. And so Reed would just continuously show up to the point where our peer group, when he passed, they were like, "JP, you ain't recognizing?" You realize that, like, I was like, because I didn't feel comfortable sharing with people how I felt about his passing. That's just a side note. Because I'm still married to a narcissist. I'm still married to someone who won't let me go. I am still in danger of him doing anything once the divorce is finalized. And I know that that's hard for people to believe or understand because it's not their lived experience. Yet, it's fucking real. So anyway. So eventually, Sharif and I would get together. Now, he's 21, and he didn't have the best track record in life. He came from New York to North Carolina. He was a track star at North Carolina Central University, and HBCU. And afterwards, he did volunteer work with youth in the community, and he was trying to make his own way. His life was taken in a home invasion. Sharif was one of those dudes where this is my house, I'm gonna protect it. And someone broke in looking for something, found Reef and group there. Sharif tried to protect his house, and he was shot and killed in his home. That was hard for me. Traumatizing, really. It was traumatizing because, as I said before, I was prepared. I won't say anticipated. I was prepared for the notion that my father or my husband might not make it home because of their job. Because we go to war. I'm capable of understanding that it could happen to my son, although I will lose my shit. And we've already got a plan of action in place just in case. Okay? But Sharif was a civilian. Mark said, do or do not, there is no try. He was a civilian, right? And we had even had like a little fuss just before that. That just shocked the shit out of me. And so for a long time, I couldn't talk about him. I couldn't think about him. I couldn't look. We're going to go down the alley this morning, y'all. We're going to be a big girl today. I couldn't look into my past, my memories, and my experiences with him without a whole lot of hurt. I couldn't look at men who looked like him without there being some type of tug at my heart. So, as my 47th birthday, I am reminded of that trip to the tapas bar that we took. And he didn't have the means. He had the heart. And so he made sure that he was off from work. He made sure that he was all cleaned up. God dang. Whew. Anyway, okay. And we went to my favorite tapas restaurant, ordered a bunch of tiny plates of food, had wine. They gave us these little heart-shaped chocolates that had Pop Rocks in them. One of the chefs was my culinary school classmate. Shout out to Chef Kyle West. His family is doing amazing things in Durham, North Carolina. They're part of the TROSA organization. They take in addicts. I believe it's on a 1 or 2 year program. They do amazing things. So kudos to them. But anyway, so we were at the name of the restaurant was Six Ways. I don't even know if it's open or not anymore, child. But so we did all of that, and then we went out with my best friend afterwards and got even more intoxicated. We got even more. That's where fuck nuts come from. We got even more intoxicated, and then let's just say he ended up having to hold my hair for a while, couple of things, but it was a wonderful birthday. And all it was just that he was there for me. Hey, Partly Cloudy, how are you, handsome? I love that damn car wash video, bro. Like, that was some soothing shit. No. Seriously. Oh, does it come from The Walking Dead? Mark, I didn't know that. I don't watch The Walking Dead, and I've been saying it for a very long time. Um, I, maybe I heard one of my children say it at some point or something like that, but yeah. I'm doing wonderful today for Partly Cloudy. I'm getting my walk in. We're walking further every day. I don't know if you guys are noticing, though, that my gait's changed a little bit. It's because I'm starting to feel a swing in like the lower half of my body, which might just be some relaxation. So I'm trying to lean into it versus get upset about it or be bothered by it. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't actually, I don't know whether or not Reef paid for anything. He may have paid the tip. And that was really just because I'm going to let a man be a man, right? And at the end of the day, he was there with me. We were doing what I wanted to do in that moment. We didn't see each other a lot. I had 3 children. I was still finishing up. I was finishing up the stuff for school. I was working full time as I might have been done with school. I was working full time as a assistant food service director, and there was a lot, you know. So the time that we got to spend together was precious, and he was willing to give his time to me, lose money that day, just not. There was a host of things, and so that was what meant the most to me. And then not too long after that, November came. That's a discussion for another time. He, like the look on his face when he saw the wine flight, now don't get me wrong, he worked at another restaurant, but it was like the way that they presented it was a little bit more than they would have done for someone else. Because again, like I said, I knew the chef. We started out at the bar, and then we were in the corner of the restaurant and the couches, and it was just really thought through. That was my part. His presence was what was most important, though. This is the thing about it, y'all. When it comes to doing for your partner, your presence and understanding what it is that they need from you, that's the gift. The gift is the gift. The day is the day. We don't get a lot of time. So what time you give has to be as intentional as everything else that we talked about in this video. It has to be purposeful. It has to be with the idea that I am going to make sure this person knows how valuable they are to me today. Right, Mark, you put in the effort. I'm going to do the discipline and sometimes the dirty work of defining who you are to me, why you matter to me, and how I'm going to show up in your life. That's on top of all of the other stuff that we're trying to do as people. So before I said in another video, everybody needs somebody, but we don't need everybody. We need those who are there for us. And this is specifically for the ladies, thus the title. You cannot fake it until you make it when it comes to being there for someone. You are either there or you are not. Is that not correct? Mark Harris. Show up, show out, or shut the fuck up. Revisit the video from last year. I'll premiere it for you if you need some assistance, some understanding, some clarity. Don't tell me what you gonna do. Don't tell me what you've been through. Tell me what you show up, show out, or shut up and sit down. You can't fake it. Either you are strong enough to love another person or you are not. And if you're not strong enough, that's okay. You can learn. You can grow. The way that you do it, though, is by sitting back, taking notes, getting pointers from those who have gone before you or have a different experience from you. This is where we start. That's how you get the clarity for discernment. I'm going to turn into the parking lot here because this is bothering my ears at this point, which means that I am getting tired and I need to go in the house. Also, the pain that was all the way up in my lower back has now moved down to my knees. Although the stiffness is still there, so it kind of feels like I can't bend my toes. So, still walking funny. But I'm walking more, I don't know, whatever. I'm still trying to get those terms together. You guys have to remember, I was dragged down some steps in February. To be up, walking, and doing all of this, that takes strength. That takes power. That takes grace. Greater than my own, child. I thought I knew God before this. I thought I understood my creator. Baby. Woo, child. Oh, okay. We're going to stop for a minute. You could have never told me that there would have been a point in my life where I would tell anybody to call on God. Right, Mark. So many people take it for granted. Oh, Jesus. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I'm just JP. For whatever reason, my creator saved me. I can tell you all of the reasons why I believe and what I think. And thank you, Mark. But there are so many that he have a hard time understanding. Like, don't get me wrong. The gentlemen yesterday were talking about survivor's grief, and that ain't it. Um, I don't have remorse. I understand that we've all gotta go. I don't understand why I keep getting such short amount of time. Like it was months. It was July to November. It was July to November. Right? Hmm. He was gone. Then there's Demario. That was June to July. A whole month. And these were the purest relationships that I had had in a long time. Where I needed them to be. Right? Hey, Emil. Right? A man who loved me just for me. And a family member, a cousin who I knew was out there. I didn't know who. We could just have these talks and try to build this family dream. Fuck all of the other shit. Sight unseen. Like, what's the purpose in that? Why do that to me? And I know you're thinking, Janine, he didn't do it to you. Here's what you took from me. In some ways, I want to blame the creator. But you know, he didn't pull either of those triggers. It was men, white police officers, and young black men. I'm mad that it exists because we don't care enough. Because we don't do enough. Because we give up on each other too fucking much. Because we forget to be human. Because we move like the Walking Dead. Mark says life will make you call on God, JP. That's true, Mark. Life will also make you fucking nuts. Thank you guys so much for hitting the likes, for commenting, doing all that YouTube stuff. I truly appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me on my walk and my totem talk. Shout out to every stoner in this space who's too afraid to get on camera and smoke your cannabis. God dang it, there's a fly. That toke was for me. The next toke's for you. You know, speaking of something that you didn't know you needed, I would have never thought, y'all, real talk. When I was in culinary school, I wouldn't fuck with people who smoke weed. Then I got a roommate who was a stoner, and I would basically tried it once with her. Then the guy that I was seeing at the time, who yes was also younger, um, excuse me, he gave me a shotgun once that made me miserable, and so then I wouldn't smoke again for a few years. Once I had to make the transition from opioids to getting to being able to live my life, bruh, cannabis. I hear what you're saying, Mark. You said, JP, you got to experience it. I hear you. And then there comes that term, blissful ignorance, Mark. So here's the thing you have to understand. Before Mario and I would come together, um, I was already working on trying not to go back to work. I've been out. I don't see. I left work the first time in 2000. Oh, and not too long after Reese passing. So no, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I was diagnosed with the fibromyalgia, I believe, in 15. 16, I would take short term disability. And then 17, I would lose my job because of the fibromyalgia. And after that, I wouldn't go back to work. Um, mm, well, no, up 18, 18. And then 2018, my son graduated and I went to Memphis. So back in 2017, I had already began to write and work on what I wanted to do. It's in here. There's another larger, like if you ever see me pull out that burgundy notebook, there's a bunch of stuff written in there, but little notes along the way. Like here, my cannabis notes. So marijuana terpenes, myrcene. It's in mango, nuts, healthy foods, sage, thyme, pinene, limonene. These are the actual terpenes that I found work best for me. Damn, I forgot I had this stuff. Great veggies, broccoli, sweet potatoes. Um, hmm. But so yeah. Anyway, I'm not anymore. Hmm. I read this before. Here we go. More doctors who throw shit at the problem without talking to me. Why should I keep fighting for me when no one cares to listen? I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of hoping. I'm tired of angry. I hurt. My heart hurts. I quit. Fuck the fight. You can have it all. I wake up crying in pain. I go to bed crying and in pain. What's the point? How can I be the change I want to see in the world when I'm surrounded by darkness, love, faith, grace, joy, humility, compassion? When the bad outweighs the good, then what? I'm more often sad or depressed than happy and ready to take on the world. Holy shit, y'all. That was 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago, and I was in the hospital in Memphis. I was there because after we lost Mario, I couldn't deal with it. So on the 5th of September 2018, has anything changed since I got here? I still want to kill myself. I'm still in pain. I'm no longer alone. I still have no income. I'm still not being heard. I'm getting help with my weight. I was real thin. I have no faith in doctors. I feel like I'm losing myself. No more mental abuse. No more fear for my safety. That's it. I walked out of that hospital. I went to my sister's in North Carolina. And I swore to keep those promises to myself. And I'm working diligently. I know I have the discipline. I certainly have the desire. And after dying in February, God damn it, I'm putting faith in the idea that I have the time. How about them apples? I don't want to hear y'all whining about shit else in this fucking space, bruh. Get over your fucking feelings. Ain't that some shit? Y'all ain't seen me touch this computer at all since I got back here. What up, Big Rig? How you doing? Big Rig, I'm always dumbass early. You just ain't never up. Now, y'all, we went on a walk. I done sat here and talked. That ain't me. That's the universe. Welcome to September 7th, 2022. What has the Creator done for you? What can you do for a creator? You're a creator. Oh, I appreciate y'all. Woo, child. I need to repack my bowl. I need to run a bath. Daniel, I need to do the dishes. Sorry. By the time I'm done with the walk and all that jazz, y'all, I'll be so tired. I fill my little belly and lay down and go to sleep like the 7-month-old that I am. Oh. Anyway, Big Rig, what are you doing up this morning? What are you smoking on? Drop it in the chat. I promise you guys, I will be going back to restreaming. Let's see, what day is my birthday on? My birthday is on a Friday. And usually, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll go live for my birthday. Just for the hell of it. It's JP season. This year, though, I'm taking it real easy. Oh, Parley Collie, you said you had some Skittles? All right, nice. Since it's early in the morning, and well, I'm sorry to everybody. Well, I'm not sorry. I am happy to be able to share my experiences with everyone in this space and hope that they're able to take something from it and apologize if it hit too hard to some. Yet at the end of the day, this is what your family members are trying to tell you. This is what your body is trying to tell you. This is what the community and your creator is trying to tell you. Partly cloudy, man. Partly cloudy. You and Big Rig need to get together and talk about the differences between um, growing in Michigan and growing in California. I'd watch that shit. Ooh, Big Rig, I'm so sorry. You said it's about 110 out. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, same here, Big Rig. I try to get everything done early, including my cooking before like 10 o'clock. And then we usually shut down from like 12 to 4, especially in the summer months. It's almost like 10 o'clock to 6. But anyway, like it's in reverse. And so now that the seasons are changing, we're going to go through Tadar, Mercury in retrograde. It's in reverse. Get it? Oh, God. Okay, never mind. Here come Razik. JP. Is it really? I miss you guys. So I will make sure that I go live again on the restream with all the bells and whistles soon. I said I want to have a conversation about moral development. Um, and I want to talk about some of the things that I've seen recently. So yeah, right, Mark, synchronization. I'm supposed to be grinding this up. It's like that, Mark, you know? It's everything seems to line up and then it gets wonky for a while. And then it lines up again and then it gets this kind of a level kind of plateau thing happening. Then it's you just gotta understand it. It's a rhythm. Like we say that life is a cycle, it's a rhythm. Right? Because it's more like this than it's like this. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's more life is it's keeping pace. It's keeping up with time. It's I need to go grab a tissue real quick. How about that? Out here crying and whatnot. Life is well, yeah, like I said, it's a rhythm. Uh, Daniel and I spoke about this. Yeah, spend more time in his presence. I'm grateful. Daniel and I talked about this, and I think the video might be titled "Keeping the Rhythm," but anyway, it's that it's finding the pattern that works for you as an individual, and then as a couple, and keeping the rhythm, keeping the beat, staying together in time. I remember that moment probably most vividly when I was trying to stay here. I looked over at Daniel. I was going through it episode after episode, and I looked over at him, and he just had tears flowing from his face. And I told him, I was like, it's okay. I'm trying to stay here. I don't want to go. Marky said, "Smoke some alien cookies." If the dispensary has it, I will be sure to check. I really got to make sure that I go out on my birthday and get them though, because all these dispensaries have deals, and so one, I'm trying to manage the funds to renew my card. That's $300, and then two, I want to go on my birthday and get as much free cannabis along with my discounted medical cannabis and the gifts that come with the card as possible. Like, I want my birthday to feel like a cannabis holiday for me. Like, I want to go to the dispensary, and because you get your card, right, they give you all these free things and you can try different products. And so now I know cannabis enough to know which ones to get, which ones not. So I want to go in like a kid in a candy store or an adult in a cannabis store. And I want to get some honey sticks. I want to get some edibles. I want to get some bath salts. I want to do all of that. And then I want to test it out. And then I want to do reviews. And then I just want to have like a goofy high experience through October, extending JP season an entire other month. That's me. That's how strong my love is for cannabis at this point. It should save my life. Had I been on opioids, Father God in heaven, I wouldn't have made it. And shout out to my favorite artist, because they were talking about, well, I saw someone speaking on independent artists at one point, right? Independent comedians. And this guy right here, not a comedian, but my favorite, um, Mark says the law of rhythm. Amen. Um, and the reason why Otis Redding is my favorite artist is not just because I'm a child of the 80s and John Hughes movies, but because he had a ranch. He was his own man. That's how strong my love is. Oh, that's how strong my love is. That's how strong my love is. I want somebody to write about me that way. You should too. You should want to be able to love someone that much that you would protect his legacy well after he's gone. Before there was a Tupac and a Biggie and his mama and their mamas, there's Otis Redding and his wife and children. There was Martin Luther King Jr., his wife and children. Malcolm X, his wife and children. We need real men raised by women who really love them. We need y'all to stand up and tell the truth. push back. Make room for more. More intentional mothers who get to pour into you and the children, the community. Make room for love. And the Creator will make room for you. Anyway, y'all. Mark said 60 days of JP. I'm in. Mark, you better talk to Daniel, my sons, and my dad. You might think differently about it. My sisters gave up. They come around every 5 to 6 years or so. I'm kidding. But I don't know. I'm learning new things. There are some things that won't change. There's some things that have. I never knew I needed affection. And with the fibromyalgia, I never wanted it. There was always this anticipation of pain. So I didn't want to be touched. Now it's different. Sorry. Yes. Rest in peace to John Hughes, Kevin Samuels. Those of you a young rapper lost this. A young rapper's girlfriend took her own life sometime in the last day or so. He's having a hard time processing that. Anyone would. It's hard to fathom why anyone would. Knowing what I know about my own willingness to almost do so, I do not believe or understand that DeMario would have a baby one day after his birthday and choose to take his own life the next day. I have seen and experienced a lot of shit. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make fucking sense. And I will stop. I will get off this internet. I will go somewhere and write a book. Shut up, sit the fuck. Make it make sense to me. It's funny. Yeah, it's ironic. Because in my head, I hear him saying, "Cousin, I didn't mean to." The fuck does that mean, DeMario? Ah, Mark says we can't stay blinded by our own mistakes. You're right there. For years, I made the mistake of listening to a bunch of people telling me that I was wrong for caring or feeling or giving a damn about anything until they needed me to carry all the weight of all the feelings because they were too much cowards themselves to do so and show up for their own. Guys, my battery's about to die, so I am going to give this 4 more minutes and get off of here. But at the end of the day, more than anything, we all need somebody who truly wants us, just us, for who we are, even when we're naked, scars and all. What Kevin say? Fresh face, fresh out the shower. There you go. Right, Mark. 600 breezy. Rest in love to that young lady. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me today. There's nothing I want more in this world than somebody who loves me naked. Someone who'll never ask for love and knows how to take it. Are you that somebody who sees the walls and breaks it? Are you ready to fight just to see what's lost behind my flaws? Can you love me naked? Yeah. We all need someone who can hear with a discerning ear, who can hear us without all the filters of their life experience, who can hear, see, and recognize us in the daylight, call us by our name, sing and dance with us. Break cycles, change the world with us. We all need that somebody. Be that for him, and he'll be more than that for you. And that last part, that's your man, that's your son, that's your creator. Whatever you call them, whichever one of them it is that you want to get the understanding of. Pour into him for him, and he will fill your vessel to abundance. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I'm gonna go get my act right. I didn't even hit that damn bowl. I'm gonna do it after this. Keep your spirit up. See ya. See you in the street. Deuces.